All right, everybody. Hope you had a wonderful weekend and that you are entering into this fourth week ready to tear it up. We've been going through a lot of really cool topics over the past couple of weeks to help with giving some creative strategies for not only meeting new prospects, but also warming them up and really just looking at different kinds of prospects with an individual approach and so that you can just expand your network and really work in different markets. So, tonight's webinar series is going to be no different than that. We're gonna follow the same exact pattern that we've been following. We're going to start off with some reminders, go through what the results have been thus far. And tonight's topic is really going to center around the idea of working with organizations, not-for-profits, churches, just your typical NPOs that are in your town that you either belong to or ones that you want to get to belong to. The process is a sensitive process. It's different than working with just typical small to medium-sized businesses because typically these organizations make their decisions with an entire board, and they have different timing and different rules and policies and restrictions that are put into place that again, there are entire boards or committees that act and vote on these kinds of things. So it is a little bit longer of a process, but I want to let you know that it's worth it, and it's worth it for so many reasons, and we're going to touch on it a little bit tonight. But organizations typically are well connected, and once you get one, the referral process and the referral opportunity is endless. And I'll share a story with you later, but what I can tell you is this. Organizations again are well connected and know other organizations and work hand in hand with other organizations often, and are their members are all built up and comprised of regular people like yourself and myself and small business owners as well. So there's an incredible opportunity to not only sell websites to the organization, but also to sell websites to members that own small businesses within the organization, as well as to bring in other product lines and build share of customer. And I'll give you examples later. So I just want to let everybody know that this is really a process that can be very profitable in the long run. It's very typical for when we say that it's very important to build a relationship. It is especially important here because again, these kinds of relationships can lead to a plethora of opportunities for you. So that's going to be our training topic for tonight. And then as usual, we're going to end with a couple of quick reminders and announcements for the upcoming week, including what the topic for next week will be. So quickly, the reminders, these webinars are being recorded. We've been very lucky. We've had successful recordings thus far, and those recordings, along with the PDF copy of these webinar presentations, are being uploaded to the weBVolumecontest.com website. All you need to do is click on webinars and support, and you can view previous webinars and also download the presentation. And again, the question and answer sessions are not recorded, so if you want to catch those, you just need to attend the live recording. Results reporting. Guys, do not forget to report your results. Everybody's doing a great job. We're having a really nice retention rate, but don't fall off. The second you fall off, you give yourself a reason to fall off for a second week in a row, and then a third week, and then pretty soon 4 weeks has gone by, and you are wondering what happened. So I encourage you, even if you don't have the best week, it's okay. Forgive yourself, just make the report anyway, and just approach your next week with a little bit more, of what you wanted to do. So lastly, please only report numbers. I'm still getting people that are labeling all of the numbers in their reports, and it just really makes it difficult and challenging on Mondays when they have to actually gather all of the numbers. So if it asks how many contacts you made, please don't write everybody's phone number and their full name. Just write the number. I contacted 8 people, and you don't have to write the word people. All right, so just numbers. And lastly, continue to interact on Facebook. Again, just, this is really an important thing to mention here. I know that it's just a quick announcement, but you guys, I trained on this at my local this past weekend, and I've trained on this a couple of times, but the Facebook groups are really great because we get to leverage each other's strengths. And it doesn't matter what part of the journey you are on as a web center owner, whether you're brand new or whether you're experienced, everybody has value. right? And so if you're brand new and the questions that you're asking, get posted, and and a couple of people can chime in and provide an answer for you, that's great. You get lots of responses, and then that's building up leadership amongst us. And that's what we want, guys. We want more leadership in the Web Center program, internationally. And so there's an opportunity to build up leadership. There's an opportunity for new people to feel supported right away. And there's the benefit of multiple points of view. And I think that's really important that you get several people chiming in based on their experience, and I think that's really, really valuable. So continue to interact, continue to ask questions, and continue to give responses if you have something relevant to contribute. I think that's really, really great. I'm loving what I'm seeing, so let's keep it going. All right, week 3 was another incredible week, guys. We've been having some really great weeks. The top results of each of these sections are for week 3, and the bottom are the total thus far. So if you look over here, last week as a group, we made 13 sales, and it sold at $23,344 with a retail profit of $15,980. So, guys, last week we performed above average for the average website retail profit, because if you remember, the average website generates $1,000 in website retail profit, and we were riding high last week, which is great. $27,542 in MA branded products were sold, 15 personally sponsored, 89 tickets to World International Convention, 26 WCTs attended. Guys, this is incredible. The first 3 weeks, 47 website sales at 70 grand and over $100,000 in product sales, 58 personally sponsored, 722 tickets to international, and 120 WCTs attended. I have to tell you guys that as a group, this is the best that we have performed thus far. We've done 90-day fast tracks, and it usually takes us to the fourth or fifth week to hit that 40 to 50 mark. And so as a group, we're performing really well. And again, I want to encourage you, if you haven't seen those results yet, those results that earn points like sales, like personally sponsored, etc., just take a look at the numbers up top, right? 5,779 contacts made. Look at all of the appointments that have been set to show the plan, or to set a website appointment, or to show the web center owner opportunity. There's a ton of activity that is put into motion, that if you continue to follow up effectively, this is what's going to grow into results. So continue to follow up with what's going on up here, so that you can see these results and you can enjoy these results and you can earn points toward this contest as well. All right, so before we get into our topic for tonight, let's do a quick recap, right? We've been talking about prospecting every single week, prospecting for website sales, right? Keeping in mind that the process is similar to showing the plan, right? Or to expanding distribution in your unfranchised, in your Market America business. There's a timing factor. There's follow-up required. There's answers to questions that need to be had, and that's fine. So remember, if you set up an appointment a week ago and that appointment was just shown, that's fine. They may decide in the next week or two, but there's a follow-up process that you need to respect and you need to engage in, and those results will pop through accordingly. That's why we continue to prospect, right? We continue to prospect all the time, and to implement all of these strategies that we've been talking about, because of the follow-up process. Because if all we did was follow up for the next 4 weeks, then yeah, at the end of 4 to 5 weeks, we might have a website sale, but then what happens after that? Do you want to start the process all over again, or do you want to constantly be prospecting so that you don't have that lull in sales every 4 to 5 weeks where now you have to start prospecting a new person? That's why it's so, so important that we continuously prospect, so that you have that synergy going and you have that healthy business cycle that's just operating and functioning on its own. All right, so who should you be prospecting for website sales? Again, warm markets. We talked about this in week 1. If you haven't watched that, please watch it. You can prospect with people with urgency, where the timing is right for them. Right now, like we're talking about contractors and people that work seasonally, where the spring is a big time for them to get going. People that work inside of familiar industries for you, right? If you worked in the restaurant business growing up or through college or whatever, or if that's your job experience, then you probably can have a pretty high level conversation with a restaurant owner and feel like you really can relate to them and empathize with the things that they're going through. And that just, again, that just puts weight in your referral because you know their business inside and out. You've worked in it and you've got experience in their business. So when you recommend the MA Web Center solution, even though you're not talking about technology, they respect you because you understand their business. So that was in week 3. And again, all 3 of these were successfully recorded, and you can watch them and download the presentations by going to weBVolumecontest.com and clicking on webinars and training. So tonight we're going to focus on a new pool, a new pond that you can go fishing in. And this is the not-for-profits, the NPOs, the churches, the organizations. And before we do that, I want to just talk a little bit about what these are and about some of the myths that come with them and some of the reasons why they would even benefit from having a website, because I want you to understand the value proposition here. All right. There is a very big myth that not-for-profits are poor, that they don't have any money to spend. When you think about churches or whatever, and I get this, and I know that this myth is real. That not that it's a true myth, but that it's a real living myth that people really do believe this, because I get emails all the time. I've got a church or I've got this not-for-profit. Do you think I should give them a discount? And my response to that is, yeah, if you want to run some sort of small discount for them as a marketing incentive, then you absolutely should. But if you're running a discount because you think they don't have money, that's a whole other story, because that's not true. Um, you know, Bigger not-for-profits like universities or hospitals and larger institutions like the Red Cross or Goodwill, they have multi-million-dollar budgets, right? And so those are bigger not-for-profits, but keep in mind this, the smaller not-for-profits, and these are your churches, etc., and I'm going to give you a list of ones that you should consider. They generally allocate their money using this little thing. 10% of their profit goes, or their money goes toward giving, 10% is saving, 50% pays salary or pays for staff members, and 30% is for building and for ministry. Um, and building a ministry, that would include things like websites, because websites help them to accomplish all of the other things that they do, right? So this is a typical little percentage breakdown. We did some research on this today just to put some numbers to it. But understand this, there is a budget, and churches and organizations and religious institutions, a lot of them, not only do they have money, but they have very large endowments. And when they invest money in things like a website or an online marketing solution, that is not an expense for them. That is an investment in their organization. It's an investment so that they can accomplish their organization's goals, and reach more people, engage the current people that are involved in their organization, and to do it better. So, again, don't be falling under that trap or that myth, thinking that these people don't have money to spend. And also don't look at it as an expense, because it's not an expense. It is absolutely an investment in their organization so that they can accomplish their goals. So, do NPOs need a website? Absolutely. Here's a couple of facts. Most donors, if they're going to donate money to an organization now, are smart enough to Google the organization before they donate their money. If you actually, and by the way, if you donate money to charities or to different organizations, you should absolutely research them first, because there are a lot of organizations out there that you find are not allocating funds in a way that would make you happy. It's not how you would want your dollars being spent. And so there's a lot of charts out there. There's a lot of visibility. Everything's very transparent right now with regard to organizations, but you can find out very quickly, different organizations, and hey, this organization, their CEO makes $100,000, whereas this one, their CEO makes $750,000. Where would you like to spend or to donate your $100? Right? There's a lot of information you can find, and because of Google and because of search engines and because of social media, even making this kind of information more transparent, donors are more educated and they are doing that research. So having a website there to represent your organization properly is very, very critical to gaining new prospects for your organization, right? Also, it makes a strong impression, it builds your brand, and it creates public trust. That feeds right into the people that are researching your organization. it gives your not-for-profit an opportunity to go green, right? They can save money on by making their documents available online and downloadable. And so it saves the organization money, and it goes with the whole Go Green incentive, which is cool. And in addition to that, they can leverage our marketing tools to reach new members and maximize interaction with existing members. So not only is this a great way for them to meet new people, but if they have a member base of, I don't know, 1,000 people, how many of those members are they actually interacting with on a daily or even weekly or monthly basis? And how many could they be interacting with, right? Well, with our email marketing solution, our social media solution, SEO or CRM, etc., all these marketing tools that come with our website solution, they have an opportunity to, like I said, not only reach out and find new donors and members for the organization, but to maximize the relationships that they have in their current member base. Websites also help and not-for-profits to achieve their goals, right? If their website is set up properly and it calls to action, then members and non-members can learn about the cause. They can join the cause online. They can have an opportunity to donate money or even donate time. They can get involved. They can learn and participate about events that are coming up, and they can spread the word via social media. So there's a lot of value here. There's a lot of opportunity for a nonprofit to not only grow their organization, meet, and again, find more donors, but to really, really maximize the relationships that they have in these result producing ways that I just listed. So what not-for-profits do you currently belong to or know of? There are so many not-for-profits. I mean, it's just amazing to me. I mean, I Googled not-for-profits just in my town, and there were literally like 7 pages of results. And by the way, when I say 7 pages of results, there was a website that listed them all, and it was 7 pages on the listing. So it wasn't just 7 pages of Google results. I mean, there were literally hundreds of results. But, just thinking more broad, churches, other religious groups, community organizations, YMCA, YWCA, they have specific rules. It's a larger organization, but a lot of them are allowed to, they choose to actually have websites that are unique to their town. So, for example, the YMCA, everybody knows is a big organization, but the YMCA in Westfield has its own website that markets all of the different stuff that's there. So they have not-for-profit organizations as well. You should search not-for-profits in your town: rescue missions, junior achievement, study groups, community health groups, day nurseries, job or career not-for-profits, basketball or youth sports, cultural centers. God, by the way, I have sold websites to the Martin Luther King Community Center, to a variety of churches, a website that connects not-for-profits that is a not-for-profit, alumni associations. By the way, veteran centers there, and there are other things too: art, music organizations, fraternities, youth development, early childhood, animal rescue shelters, specific causes or syndromes, right? If there's a not-for-profit that say generates money and awareness for Alzheimer's or cancer or whatever, there's all these places that need a better online presence, and you can help them. Credit counseling. You guys, there are so many opportunities for you to, I mean, by the way, not only are you having an opportunity to network with these people, but what an opportunity to help the cause, right? By just simply making a referral and scheduling an appointment, everybody wins, right? Your business is growing and you're helping a not-for-profit to really, really reach more people. And that really just feels good. So I highly recommend that you give these strategies a try. So, just as in any of these other strategies, your first step is to start by identifying organizations that you belong to. And I would use this list as a jogger, as a memory jogger. Do you belong to, or have you donated to, or have you interacted with, or have you participated with an event for any of these kinds of not-for-profit organizations? And if you have, go ahead and make a list and do your quick investigation. Google them and find out, what does their current website situation look like? Is their site any good? Are they using social media? Are they calling to action? Now, with not-for-profits, when I'm looking to see if they're calling to action, go ahead and look. does their website accomplish any of these things? Can a viewer learn about the cause? Can they join the cause online? Can they donate money? Can they, sign up to donate or volunteer time? Can they get involved? Are there upcoming events listed? Are they using social media? Have this list open when you're investigating and evaluating whether the website is any good. This is a really, really great, these are going to give you some really great talking points and some really great questions to ask these people. The next step is to really understand the NPO process. Like I said earlier today, generally a board or committee are the people that will make decisions as a group. So talking to a single decision maker is not really the way that it goes, and it makes it a little bit challenging because, again, you're dealing with an entire group rather than a single person or two. It doesn't mean it can't be done. It just means you have to understand the process and engage all of the people that are involved, right? So, another thing to prepare for, the decision may be bound by timing. So, they may say, well, we only make our marketing decisions during the first quarter or whatever. So, again, just be prepared for that. And that's fine. You don't have to rush or force anything to happen, but just be prepared for that. But also be prepared that that timing could work in your favor. Almost all of the time, if there is a budget allocated for certain things, at the end of the year and that money was not spent, not for profits will spend the money anyway because that money doesn't roll over into the next year. If it doesn't get spent, it just goes away. And not only that, but it gets factored into their strategic planning. So, when the board or committee sits down and they say, well, so and so had all, they had $10,000 allocated for marketing and promotional items, but they only spent three. So, this year we're only going to allocate $4,000 because they clearly didn't need the 10. Right. So they don't want that to happen. So a lot of times at the end of the year, if they didn't spend all $10,000, they'll say, well, let's go ahead and bring out that bucket list of all the things that we wanted and let's go ahead and buy them, because if we don't spend it, it's going away and it's going to affect next year. Next is to engage in the process. So excuse me, I was just coughing. So again, starting with organizations that you currently belong to, the first step is to identify which ones those are and do the investigation of their current website situation, like we already talked about earlier today. Google them, check out their literature, etc., and just find out, is their website, does it look like it's working? Is it hitting that call to action from the other slide that I showed you before? Yes or no? And you don't have to spend a lot of time here, but again, the goal here is to acquire some information so that when you do start to talk to people, you've got some good talking points and some good questions to ask them so that you can have a conversation about their website. The second step is to identify who you even need to talk to, right? So if you belong to a specific church, for example, is it one person or is there a group of people? Is it a ministry that handles this stuff? Are these people volunteers? And if they are volunteers, is there an opportunity for you to volunteer and be a part of this committee as well? These are just questions I'm throwing out there. These are options that you have. Or are the people that make these decisions, are they salaried, right? Either way, you need to identify who you need to talk to, what people, right? So if it's an entire group of people and you know somebody that's on that board, then you can start with the person that you know. And you can start asking questions to them. Now, if you, again, you obviously aren't going to schedule a meeting with the entire board right at first, because that's not our process, but just talking to one person to get a foot in the door is highly recommended. From there, you're going to ask questions the same way that you would if this was a small business owner. You've identified one person that you can talk to that's going to be your foot in the door, and you're going to use that information from your research to ask some quality questions. It's really that simple, right? All you're doing is identifying a need, a problem that you can solve, a need that you can fill. It's again, it's the exact same process. Nothing changes here. The only difference is that you are going to make a referral that you're now going to have to engage multiple people in, right? So after you've asked a couple of questions, you're going to make that referral or schedule the appointment. And again, you belong to this organization. We're starting with organizations that you belong to for a reason. Now, obviously, as a member of an organization or as a donor to a charity, somebody that has donated to a charity, whether you're an active member or not, you obviously want the best for that organization. So your referral is going to be weighted highly and your referral is going to be more valuable to them. right? But keeping in mind that when you schedule this appointment, you need to engage the decision makers. And that is generally going to be plural when you're talking about an organization. So you can schedule an initial consultation or initial appointment with one person if you need to, if that's the absolute only way they will do it. But my recommendation is, why not schedule a time that works for the board to get together and do a phone call together with tech support or with sales support? That will save you so much time if you can make it happen. If not, then you're going to just have more follow-up that's required. And that is the final step, is to continue to follow up and get the questions answered. All right, so lastly, I want to talk about the value of networking through NPOs, because this is huge, you guys, because NPOs know other NPOs. So a quick example is I sold a website to the archbishop of a church. A non-denominational church. He was a really, really great guy. And he's also very, very, very well connected. I mean, obviously, he's an archbishop. He knows a lot of people. So he ended up connecting me with the Council of Churches of Greater Springfield. Also, the World Bishops Council. So we did a website for World Bishops Council. We did one for his personal church that that he was the pastor for. And then we also did one for this organization called the Council of Churches of Greater Springfield. And what that was an organization that connects all religious leaders of all denominations, and even not. They had a couple of like pagan, like they had pagan, Jewish, Catholic, Christian, Baptist, Bashai. Like they had so many religious organizations, and the point of this organization was to connect the leadership and to leverage each other's ministries for the better of the community, which I thought was really kind of cool. So so the archbishop buys a website and then leads to 2 more website sales right out the bat, right? Because he's well connected. The Council of Churches then says there are so many churches and religious organizations that belong to our organization that really need a better website. Might you be able to help them? Of course, I'd be able to help them. So they lead us to even more websites sales to more religious organizations that belong to their organizations. Now, it goes even further than that. Who do you think belongs to these not-for-profits? People, right? And people are generally employees or small business owners. So even within the one church with the archbishop, it's like we sold several websites to small business owners inside of the church, like Mary Taylor Music and One Embrace. And there was another woman that had an online retail shop, and Hazardville Roofing, and all of these people. And the point is this, you guys. With NPOs, it may take a little bit of time to build that initial relationship, but once you do, the referrals just flood in, because if you take care of them right, if you follow up and you've built a strong rapport and you've built a solid relationship, they're going to want to refer you, right? You're not asking them to do you a favor and give you referrals, but rather they're happy and they see results for their organization, and the referrals just pile up. It's awesome. So for us, we actually had a referral program that we ran personally in our own group, and we would just say, for every referral that you give us that ends in a sale, we'll give you a $100 shop.com gift card. And they said, oh, that's pretty cool. That's great. And, that gets us another preferred customer on shop.com as well. And that's just something simple that we do, because we know that the $100 gift card is going to be worth it to continue to network and to continue to work through their people. Does this process sound familiar, guys, by the way? Working through people's people. It's such a valuable way to build your web center business. And with not-for-profits, because they're not dealing with just one business owner, you're dealing with organizations that are comprised of multiple people. It's just like a networking like haven. There's so many people and there's so many opportunities to network. It's unreal. And it can lead to a ton of sales for you. But more than that, it can lead to other opportunities for you to build share of customer, right? We have an actual Market America not-for-profit organization program. And I'm not going to go over the details on that, but what I will tell you is that, when you get them a website and it's happy and everything's great, and you say to them, and by the way, we have a way for you to earn ongoing commission checks as well, where you can get your organization to just simply switch their transfer their buying and go to shop.com instead, and you guys would just passively earn income rather than having to run these fundraisers that take up a ton of time, money, and effort. They love that. And again, there's actually a lot of information on this on unfranchisedtraining.com. Kevin Buckman put together some really great presentations that I encourage you to check out. But again, again, a great opportunity to build share of customer and continue to build on the relationships that you've created with your website clients here with your not-for-profits. You can also, do other things like other fundraisers or things like that. We've done things like Motives fundraisers where, we get together at the church and we do like a makeover night or whatever, and all of the makeup that gets sold, the retail profit goes to the church or to the ministry. I'm happy to donate my retail profit to the church any day of the week because I'm going to get the BV and I'm potentially going to get a customer for life, because I know that when someone buys like a Motives liquid mineral foundation from me and they run out, they're not going to want something else because that's the best one out there. I have people that literally can't even like stand it when they run out, that they order extra quantities like well before they need it because they just don't want to run out. So you can run other fundraisers and you can or whatever, and you can leverage other people in your organization that specialize in other areas, and vice versa. Just remember that. We're going to talk about mixing majors another time. But again, if you have people in your group that do major in Motives or do major in health and nutrition and would want to do something like this, again, you have an opportunity here to continue to build on these relationships, really, really network, and build share of customer and build a really, really great and strong rapport. My recommendation is that you stay very organized, because these, like I said, it is a networking haven. Like there's so many people that you're going to meet because of not-for-profits if you actually implement this. So organization is going to be critical. So I keep an ongoing list for organizations, not only in my town, but referrals that I get from them, because I want to know how they're connected and how I met them, just so that I can stay personal and up to date when I'm talking to these people. All right, so I hope that this has been helpful for you guys. I'll tell you, there's three places that I sell the most of my own personal websites, and it's contractors, like builders, it's restaurants, and it's organizations. And out of all of those industries, organizations for me has been really the most fun, because once you get one, it just leads to so many. I'm a good customer manager. I call my people, I ask how they're doing, I make sure they're using tech support, and that's just what I do. So I really hope that you will put the time in to even work with one or two of the organizations on your list, because that's really all it takes, you guys. If you can work with one or two and do that well, it could lead to like 10 to 20. So I encourage you to do that this week. Don't forget to report your results. Next week, we're going to be talking about successful follow-up strategies, organization, leveraging their competition to create urgency, how to be specific, how to be personal, how to answer their questions or make sure their questions are getting answered, and how to create urgency so that they're not just in the follow-up funnel for so long. Um, and I think it's really well timed, because we will have gone through 4 weeks of strategies for prospecting. And if you've been implementing even half of what we've been talking about, you're going to, the follow up is going to be critical for you to really, really be doing a good job with that over the next 4 to 6 weeks. So I thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I hope this has been helpful. Let's stay in touch and make sure you're asking your questions on Facebook throughout the week. Have a great week, everybody.